I'm Rob Licuria, Senior Editor at Gold Derby, here with Gregory Diaz IV, who plays Sonny in the Heights. First of all, Gregory, you are already quite a seasoned performer. You're so young, and yet you've accomplished so much already, which is just so admirable. Triple threat, actor, singer, dancer. What is your number one passion out of those three?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. And that being said, I don't think I could really choose one. I enjoy all three of them pretty equally. Um, I mean, that's why, being a part of a project like In the Heights was so amazing, not only because it's an amazing story and it's so culturally rich, but because it was just three passions that I really loved and I got to do it just mashed up together. That's really why I love musicals, especially on-screen musicals. Um, yeah, it was really a blessing.
Do you think that you'll probably keep gravitating towards musicals on film or otherwise, maybe on stage, as your career progresses, because it's something that you can really use all three of those amazing talents?
Um, I definitely want to do more than just musicals. I think any actor you ask would really like to have a diverse repertoire of anything that they've done. Um, I do love musicals. I just think maybe the next one it has to be like a pretty big one,
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
something
So
even bigger than In the Heights. I don't know,
something, is that even possible? I don't know, but yeah,
maybe.
maybe. Now, I know you've spoken about this at length with other media outlets, but just in case people haven't heard this story, um, you get a role in this film. You know, it's a Lin-Manuel Miranda production, so to speak. It's directed by John Chu. This is huge. How did you get this role?
Um, wow, I probably had my first audition way back in I want to say like the ending of 2018. So at that point, I was probably like 13. Um, that was my first audition. And then I had a couple callbacks. Those were like the beginning of 2019. I remember my very last like callback slash chemistry testing was all the producers were in the room. John Chu was in the room. Lynn was in the room. And then I was reading with Anthony Ramos, which was a pretty nervous experience. I look up to a lot of people in that room. I was and continue to be a huge fan of Hamilton. So just like looking at Anthony Ramos and Lin Manuel was kind of like, what's going on right now? I really had to like keep it condensed and be like, yes, I'm here to work. Um, but I mean, I ended up getting the call, I think. Well, my dad actually got the call that I got the part of Sunny, but they didn't tell me until like a little bit later on because Lynn wanted to FaceTime me himself to like let me know. Um, so they were pretty much like telling my dad to keep it on the down low and just like give Lynn my number. And I think I had like just left the dentist or something. And I'm in the car and I get this random FaceTime. Most of the time I'll decline it. But my dad was, no, you shouldn't answer it. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then just like in pops Lin-Manuel Miranda and like are the background are all his Tonys and awards and stuff. And you're just like, oh my God, like what's going on? Um, I never once had thought in that moment that I was given the role. I just thought I was getting a random call from Lin-Manuel Miranda because why wouldn't that happen? But he offered me the role. He asked if I wanted to be a part of this project, and I accepted. I mean, who wouldn't? And just thinking back on it now, it's I was very excited but nervous. I was feeling all the emotions.
I just can I need to just underline this for people. Like, you're a young guy, you're getting a phone call from someone you look up to, someone so famous and so acclaimed, and you're getting a role in his next film. That blows my mind. And that is such a great thing for you to carry with you forever, like that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Um, so that's your first major role, right? And but you did make your Broadway debut in 2016 in the Tony Award-winning Matilda. So what was more nerve-wracking, being in a Broadway musical or being in a big Hollywood movie?
Um, they both have things to be a bit nervous about. With Broadway, it's you get more than one opportunity. You do the same show 8 times a week, but you really want to give the best show you can every time you're going on. With something like, you know, film and TV, you do get those other takes to try and do it again, but it's not as many times as you will on Broadway. And really, they just want to get that one take and move on to the next scene. But I would have to say In the Heights, mostly just because it was such a star-studded cast, and coming into the project was just like, oh my God, what's happening? And like I look up to so many of these people. Um, but other than being nervous, I was really just excited to get to work with them.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite musical number in the film?
Definitely. I would say 96,000. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, the energy was just so high on set for those 3 days. We had 500 plus extras, most of them from Washington Heights themselves. So
Wow.
there was just like that energy was really, really authentic, and you could very obviously see that on screen.
So I didn't realize it was such a big number in terms of the extras, and they're all locals from Washington Heights. For people who don't know, that's in the northern side of Manhattan. Um, wow! And so what was the feeling like? These are all these people, and you're celebrating this culture that many of us don't get to see enough of. To be quite honest, what was that energy like? Were you just pinching yourself? Were you just having the best time of your life?
I mean, honestly, yeah, it never once felt like work to me. It just felt like I was showing up to like summer camp with friends pretty much. And like they just so happened to be recording what we were doing. Um, and we spontaneously break into dance and song. But other than that, it was, like you said, just being surrounded by so many amazing people. This was really my first experience where everywhere I looked, there was pretty much a Latinx person, whether it was the cast or the crew or the caterers, the dancers. It was it was really an amazing opportunity to have in, I think, such a great point in my career, and I think it's really good. Really was a turning point, and I look forward to hopefully being able to do more projects like that.
Absolutely. And eventually when you're much older and more experienced, you may able to shepherd your own productions where you can bring in people of your own from your own culture, your background. Speaking of that, I think we've come a long way in diversity and representation. I think you probably agree with that. But for Latinx culture, I think we have a far more to go. I really do. And that's why watching something like In the Heights, for me, I'm not American, and so it was a really great way for me to immerse myself in a culture that I'm not that familiar with, to be honest. How do you feel about that? Bringing Latinx culture, we need to see more of it, don't we, in film and TV?
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear you say that, because that's exactly my thinking. It's great to see more representation that's happening, not only with the Latinx community, but so many communities and cultures. But there's still more work that needs to be done. We're not finished yet. I think a project like In the Heights, I remember Lin-Manuel Miranda said something like, this isn't just, we're not just creaking the door open and peeking through. We're really just kicking it down and coming straight at you. And I think the time that even the film rolled out at, we were really in the US rolling out of the pandemic. And it was kind of this idea, to get back and celebrate and feel and just enjoy one another once more. Um, but I really think, the Latinx representation, we have to continue to see more. And In the Heights, I think, is really going to be that forerunner film that's going to go down in history as something that helped initiate that.
Yeah, I think it's really kind of set the bar for that kind of cultural representation for the whole Latinx community, because this Latinx community, it's not a monolithic thing, you know, it's made up of so many different cultures from Latin America, South America, Central America, and so forth. So yeah, it was a real great eye opener. And you're right, you guys did this film quite a long time ago. The pandemic has slowed a lot of stuff down. When it finally came out, it was just at the right time. We were all ready to just start getting together and celebrating again. I think that's why this film has really hit home. And that's why it was such an emotional experience for me and others to see. Do you feel that, did you get that kind of reaction from people when you've heard reactions about the film?
Yeah, it was really amazing, like you said, to just hear people that they themselves are not Latin or have never really had an experience with Latin culture or Spanish culture, but were able to connect to it so deeply. And I think that's because the film itself is so universal. It has so many universal themes that just really grab you like from the shoulders and just pull you in straight into the film. And I think the film itself is a very immersive experience because of those universal themes.
Totally agree. My final question is, obviously, you know, you've had this big breakthrough, you've done some great work already in your relatively short career. What's next for you? What do you want to do more of, or what are you planning on doing next?
Well, of course, I'm still a student, so I have, you know, school going on. But I'm auditioning. I am attached to a few projects. I would love, you know, like my fellow members that were just here, I am a very big Marvel fan. I'd love to one day just get the opportunity to, I don't know, maybe play a little Marvel superhero. I do have some ideas in mind. Marvel, if you're watching, I don't know, but yeah. So just continue to watch out.
Okay, oh, I will. And so, Kevin Feige, if you're watching this, I think you need to give Gregory Diaz IV people a call, because we'd like to see him in Phase 4 of the Marvel MCU. On that note, good luck, mate.